Hello, flatties and globe defenders. It's Critical Think from Down Under. Today I have with me a flat earth fighter from Lancashire. He actually has a science degree, and judging by the content of his videos, I think he actually earned it instead of getting it off the back of a cornflakes packet like some people do. So, I just got to... Well, I've actually made that noob mistake of having myself on the video stream. Anyway, we'll get right back into this. So while he was at university, he also captained the university karate team and once placed an impressive third in the National Student Championships at black belt level. He's been teaching for 16 years, teaches science, a bit of astronomy, and recently took the plunge into the realm of the self-employed. If you've seen any of these videos, you may have guessed that he plays a bit of guitar, and in fact, he used to play in a functions band. He has a wonderful sense of humour, and this plays a pivotal role in his excellent debunking of flat earth and other nonsense. So, without further ado, would you please welcome the incredibly amazing, the funny, whiteboard champion, Conspiracy Cats.
Hi, how are you doing? You alright?
I'm great.
Whiteboard champion, I love that award. Thank you.
So, I'm just going to switch this screen here now. I'm going to get everything on the screen, and my first recollection of you coming onto YouTube was when you battled it out with Riley. They claim victory, schooling a science teacher.
Yeah.
Was that your actually first appearance, or you had some stuff before that?
Now there's a context behind that. I'm actually glad you asked, and just put this out. I didn't know you were going to ask that. I don't know any of these questions, so this hasn't been staged. But yeah, I've been meaning to get this story out for a while, so I am glad you asked. The story behind that was I was teaching in a high school, and one of the pupils that I taught come up to me and said, "Oh, sir, I've seen this video that says the Earth is flat. What do you think?" So I said, "Well, no, it's not." But a light bulb went off in my head. I thought, well, maybe I could engage the kids a little bit with science if I just found a random flat earther on the internet and had like a discussion with him, and then the kids could watch it on the YouTube channel, because the school had a YouTube channel. The kids could watch it, and then maybe they might start asking questions, and we could have, like, scientific discussions. So I got in touch with Anthony, and I told him just that, and I let Anthony set the questions, and then I promised him that I wouldn't argue with him, I wouldn't debate him. I would say my bit, I'd let him say his bit, and whatever he said, I wouldn't refute, because it wasn't going to be a big argument, and it was just going to be a discussion so the kids could watch it. But of course, I'm a bit more familiar with him now, and the first thing he did was, like you said, called it schooling a school teacher, a big debatey one, and so he was a little bit cheeky with that, to be honest.
Yes, and like I see they claimed victory, and they had you stumped with the feather and the bowling ball in the vacuum. That the obviously was density, because the only difference was the air in those two scenarios. So have you?
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is amazing. And
I mean, something else he said, and again, I really wanted to push him on it, but I promised I wouldn't. I thanked him for his time. He was going out his way to do me a favor. But one of the things I raised was that, why has nobody in this big conspiracy come forward? And he brought up the tombstone of Wilner. How do you pronounce it? Von Braun. And he's got the not the tombstone, the headstone, sorry, and it's got the little comment about the stars and the firmament. And he actually said, as far as he was concerned, that was it. That was proof, absolutely proof that somebody coming forward and breaking open, the whole conspiracy. And I said, it's just some nice touching words on somebody's headstone, and I don't know, but I couldn't argue back with that point because I promised it wouldn't be an argument. So looking back now, maybe I should have chosen somebody else to do that with, you know, someone who would have represented it more fairly.
Yes, well, you got caught being honest when, you know, that's not the rules of the game for them, is it?
I'm learning that thick and fast, yeah. I've not been in this long, but I'm learning that thick and fast, definitely.
So then it wasn't too long after that you started putting out videos, I noticed.
Well, yeah, and it was because of that, because I was frustrated when I come off that, and I thought I really wanted to say this, I wanted to say this, but I didn't want to argue with people, especially on a channel that belonged to the school I worked for. So I thought, well, I'll just create my own channel and tell nobody about it, and I'll say what I want to say on that. So I did, and that's where Conspiracy Cats come from. And yeah, but the motivation definitely was that chat I had with Anthony, 100%. Yeah.
And that's not, what was it, somebody, at least one other person like Celebrate Truth mirrored that video as well. So
yeah.
Oh well, never mind. You've now you're getting your own back at them. I see your channel is growing very well. You're up to 9,000 something subs now.
It's, you know what, today's been a really bizarre day as well. Like today and yesterday, I think I've put on over 500. So I don't know. I think this whole thing with Anthony and the mountains video this week has given it some publicity. So yeah, it's going. I'm really. I'll be honest. When I started it in July, I would have snapped your hand off if you just said by Christmas I could have had 1,000. That was my goal by Christmas, to get to the point where I could have 1,000 subs. So I'm just absolutely over the moon with how it's gone. You know, every single day more people are subscribing, and I just can't. Yeah, it's quite humbling, really, to think that you make something and, you know, people other than me mum want to watch it, you know.
Yeah, losing my hat. So I noticed a couple of your videos have gone missing, like numbers 1, 3, and 5, for instance.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me, but you can.
No. I'll mention it. I'm just trying to think how. I think those people who know why they've gone missing know why. And I made those videos about a particular person, and that particular person isn't very well at the minute. And I didn't feel it was in good taste to leave them up. I won't mention his name. Those people who know. Those people who don't know, it's not my news to give out or talk about. But I just felt that they were in bad taste to leave up, so I took them down.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. There you go. And but something very, very important here, I think. I see you seem to be a bit of a Doctor Who fan.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. What about yourself? Do you watch?
Oh, I love Doctor Who, yeah.
Who's your favourite?
Oh, doesn't matter. I think David Tennant, I think, is pretty good. But doesn't matter. And I get a chance to watch the back issues when I get a chance to, but, you know, don't get much TV these days. So, another... No, it's all right. You can, if you... All right.
I was going to say, what do you think of them changing to a woman? Do you think that's been like a bit too risky? Do you think you're happy with that? What, you know, I know it's controversial. We've got to be careful what we say. What do you think about that?
Yeah, very controversial. It takes a bit of getting used to, but, you know, I mean, I'm okay to see how it works out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
as long as the stories are good.
Yeah. Yeah, stories are always good. Now, something I didn't mention in the intro, but you're a bit of a snooker and pool and chess player in the past, and you've actually represented your country in pool and chess. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, that's a typo on my part. County.
County.
So county, yeah. I've snuck the R in to make it sound a bit better. Yeah, that was the autocorrect on the type. It was, county. I've represented Lancashire. So when I was at school, I used to play for Lancashire at chess, and then I sort of lost interest in that. And then when I was at university, I played for Lancashire for pool. Not for snooker, but I did play flagship for pool, only for a short time. But it was good fun. They were good days. It was more a social thing for me. We had a good team of lads, and wherever we go, we'd play the games. We'd have a few beers afterwards, and it was a good laugh. But then we all got married and settled down, and that was that.
Yeah.
No more fun. That was the end.
And yeah, you played a bit of guitar in a functions band. How long ago was that now?
Oh, well, I stopped playing in the band about 3 years ago. Originally, we started off at school. Where one year, excuse me, 1 year is like a Christmas assembly. They did a show, a talent show for the kids to get up. And me and two of the other teachers and one of the IT technicians, we all played a bit. So we said, well, why don't we just for this Christmas get together, learn a couple of Christmas songs, and go and play them as a band for the kids. And then we really enjoyed it and thought, oh, why don't we get a set list together and do a few pub gigs? And before we knew it, we were working every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday afternoon, and it got really busy. In fact, it's the fact that it got so busy that killed it really, because like I said, we all settled down, and had got young families, and it was just too much. But it was, again, they were good. That was good times as well, good fun, really good bunch of guys they were.
Yeah, we're having trouble with the video stream. It's buffering a little bit.
Do you want me to take my face off and put the picture on?
I don't know if it'll make any difference. But let me see. Yeah, it's buffering. I think maybe my internet uplink is just not up to this. Just wait a minute.
No problem. So is the problem at your end, or is there anything I can do from my end?
I think the problem's at the upload at my end. Just a minute. I cannot. I will just try something here. I got something I can try. So, see if that managed to recover.
Right, let's have a look.
Yeah, we're just seeing if I can do something about the buffering. All right, you could try. You can still hear me, Conspiracy Cats?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. And somebody's saying I should turn my own cam off. Yes, maybe I will try that too. We'll see if that makes a difference. Might have to change internet providers. Still not recovering well. Let me see. Okay, I think right, still not recovering well. You can still okay, you can turn your picture off and we'll see if that makes it.
My picture. Yeah, is that better?
I think that I don't know. It's not. It's the best we can do. I think we'll just wait and see a few seconds for the for this to come back again.
Oh, Sean Hufford's just posted. He's quite an intelligent guy. He's just posted the buffering is between YouTube and the ISP, and he's saying if everybody rewinds the stream a little bit, then it's fine. I've kind of interpreted what he said there.
Yeah.
I think I've got that right.
Anyway, they should still be able to hear us okay, I think. So another thing about, you got this, where am I here? Oh, yeah, I don't know whether you did, have you ever noticed, do you ever get to listen to those Globebusters and Nathan Oakley's? I mean, they're too long for me, and I can't listen to them all. But do you get to listen to them?
When I first started, because I used to finish school around about the time Nathan Oakley's second stream was on. I used to listen to that live on the way home, and that was because Anthony was on, and I knew Anthony obviously from the chat we'd had and stuff, and I kind of like listening to it really just to hear what he had to say. So I spent probably a good couple of months listening to that every day. Never really listened to the Globebusters, but I listen to the Flats Debate Show. But then, to be honest, it gets a bit tiresome. It's the same old routine. It's just a lot of shouting, no actual serious debate, and a lot of, to be honest, deception and just nonsense. To be honest, for me anyway, that's my interpretation of what goes on there. So I don't tend to listen to that now. What I will do is, if someone tweets me and says you want to download, today's video, there's some good stuff in it, then I'll download it and I'll play through it. But I tend not to listen much. So no. Who else is out there? You've got Dell. Yeah, Dell's out there as well. Again, I don't tend to listen to him either. I've got a couple of his streams that I've downloaded and chopped up, but I don't tend to dip in and actually listen to him live.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate, looking at the at the chat and just seeing how my stream comes through. So some of them are saying it's okay now. Okay. So where am I at with this? Yeah, that's sort of a bit of a distraction, isn't it? So the other thing, you've recently got a bit of a new look on your channel. You've changed the logo on your front screen. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Yeah.
The channel art in the background, or
yeah, you've got channel art. You've got new thumbnails on your videos.
Yeah, I've been really lucky, really lucky. I'm rubbish when it comes to stuff like that. The channel art, I was chatting to a guy called Creaky Blinder. He's got a relatively new YouTube channel. In fact, he was in my video yesterday, and just out the blue, I think he's quite competent at stuff like that. And just out the blue, he emails me the channel art and said, what do you think of that? I didn't ask for it. Just really kind of him. He just sent it me. So, I really like that. The intro come from a guy called I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's got a YouTube channel called Geek Studios, and he just emailed me the thumbnails and the intro that I've got, just again completely out the blue. It's really good of them. I thought they were fantastic, so I've kept them. But I can't take credit for doing any of them myself because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, that's good to get some help, isn't it? So I'm just looking at the chat again. I'm not really sure how it's going now. But there may be, and it takes a few seconds for this sound to come through. So let's just see what people say. Dropping to 720p. Yes, I see. New mistake, I suppose. I'm doing it too high a resolution, but I don't think I can drop it now. I think it's too late. So now I'm running out of canned questions. So I'm going to look here. Oh, we must talk about football. when you say football, we in Australia know a different kind of football. But tell us about the football that you like.
So you mean, yeah, well, we mean the football you play with your feet. That's that's the one. They're not quite as rough as the Australian football. I do like watching the Australian football, and I don't know if you ever watched the Gaelic football, which that's quite similar.
Yes,
yes,
that's right.
I do like watching those, but we don't get much of it over in the UK. But no, I'm a big Blackburn fan. We drew today. We were 2-0 up, and they pegged us back. But yeah, I've been a Blackburn fan all my life. I don't live a million miles away from the ground, so I try and get down as much as I can. And yeah, that's it really. We're going through a bit of a tough time at the minute. We were taken over by an Indian chicken company a couple of years ago, and they clearly didn't know anything about football. They didn't know anything about the business, so they took us from the Premier League and relegated us 2 divisions in record time. And we're just trying to fight our way back at the minute.
Oh, okay. So knowledge of chickens doesn't necessarily translate to football success, you think?
It's not been the transferable skill they hoped for, I think. They've not been the, how can I put it, not been the most competent of owners that we've had. I'll be honest with that. What about you? Have you got a sport that you follow a lot?
Oh, I don't know. I don't get much time to watch things, but cricket's okay. Cricket's okay. I don't mind the odd bit of Australian rules footy, but I don't follow any teams or anything. So the Ashes, do you get into that when that comes around? Oh, a little bit, not much. I'm just too busy with everything, work, life, and how do you manage to juggle everything in your work-life balance?
You know what? I've been struggling a lot lately with that, but like you just said, I've just sort of like taken the self-employed route, and hopefully that's going to help me, cutting my hours back a little bit, and if I need to now, then I can just say no, I'm not working today. So that helped. But for the past few weeks, as I've been seeing out my teaching contract, I've been working at school all day teaching, working as a tutor in the evenings, pretty much every night of the week, taxi dad on a Saturday and Sunday, and that's why my video production has gone down to 1 a week if I'm lucky.
Yeah,
because I've just been too busy. But come sort of next Wednesday, that's all over, and hopefully I can get back to 2 videos a week and have a bit more of a balance. But it's tough, isn't it, juggling everything?
Yes, it is. They're saying that the stream is fine now. You can try turning your camera on again, and we'll try one thing at a time and see how we go.
Okie dokie. I'll get my ugly mug back on.
I think Gary Lowe says it was just as well turn the cameras off. We were both ugly as sin or something like that, he said.
Well, I know I am, but... Thanks, Gary.
So...
I should have brushed my hair, shouldn't I, before I come on? Made an effort.
We can talk a little bit about your latest picture, which you put up, and that's a very I think these are where the globe Earth, flat Earth debate seems to be going these days. We're a little bit more sophisticated than the pictures of the past, where you see boats going over the curve. Now we actually have to do calculations. So this has been a bit of a saga, this particular picture. You want to talk a little bit about that? Oh
yeah, this has been great. There's a guy in America called Ike. In fact, I'll be on a hangout with him and someone called the Rumpus tomorrow to discuss this picture. And he kind of follows, the flat Earth stuff on the internet, and he'd seen the video of Miles Davis's photograph and how powerful that was and the discussion that generated. And he literally lives, right next door, pretty much to where he took this photograph. And he thought, well, I've got a photograph that shows just the same as what Miles has done. I wonder if there's any traction in that. I wonder if I can get out there and add it to the discussion. So he sent it to quite a few people. I think he sent it to me. I think he said Greatest Sapien as well, and he named a couple of others. But obviously, you know, everybody gets loads of emails and loads of tweets. I just happened to be looking at mine when it came through. So I was quite lucky that I was the one that responded first to him. But we sat down and he told me all about the photograph, and he'd done all the annotation on it. He'd done everything for me. Plus get a load of other photographs and a load of other video that will be shown in the Hangout tomorrow. And we sat down and said, right, well, what should we do? And he sort of came up with the idea that if we are deliberately vague when we show this photograph and make the first video, if we don't tell everybody that it lives right next door to the mountain, if we don't show the other photographs we've got, if we don't show the video we've got, if we don't show proof of all the numbers, etc., if we're just completely vague, then we can see what they come back with, and then we can counter it. But like a dream, you know, we were vague, and the Flat Earth debate team. Well, have you seen the story this week and the way they responded? Because it was golden.
Yeah, I've seen like they've spent a couple of hours, and I couldn't watch it all. But why do you take a couple of hours when you know it's simple? But anyway,
it is, isn't it? It is that simple. There's no way in the world you should be able to get that on a flat Earth. There's no way. But Anthony made the mistake, I think, of jumping in feet first without really looking at the photograph. I think he thought he had me, you know, and I'd made a mistake. And, you know, he launched into doing a live stream with Ranty Flat Earth, if you know him, calling me conspiracy prats and an idiot and so on.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be able to respond and say, actually, it's not me that's made the mistake. But when he made his video, he actually did the maths in his video using the numbers that I'd given him, or that I could give him, and said, yeah, if these numbers were right, then my argument would be correct. Not realizing, obviously, we were talking about the side peak of the mountain. So he basically admitted that Mount Rainier at the back, or Rainier, people keep telling me I'm pronouncing it wrong, Mount Rainier at the back should be about 870 odd meters above that side peak. And he did the maths to calculate it. So he was upset. He sent me a few messages. He's demanded I take the video down. So I'm going to leave it up and make some more, I think.
What? He's demanded you take the video down because?
He claims that I'm deliberately lying. I've got a video coming out tomorrow on it, but he claims I'm deliberately lying. And I'm misrepresenting the flat Earth position on the photograph. I don't even know what he means. All I've done is showed everybody the maths he's done and said, yeah, I agree with it. You know, that's all. But I think he's a little bit embarrassed. I think the Flat Earth debate, I think they're a little bit embarrassed that maybe they've made a mistake, and it's a bit of backpedaling on their part. But I was speaking to Ike about it last night, and we were in stitches laughing. It just couldn't have worked out better. You know, it wasn't planned for Anthony to be the person actually who made that mistake. I sent the link to Anthony when I made the original video. But up until now, Anthony had never, ever, ever made a video trying to debunk me or make me look stupid, because I think we've spoken on a personal level. He's always stayed away from doing that. So I thought, well, if I send this Anthony, he will pass it on to Nathan. And I was expecting Nathan to make a big show of it. And that was the plan. And then I was going to respond to what Nathan said. But, you know,
yeah,
God works in mysterious ways, and it all worked out fantastic. Yeah, it went pretty well. In fact, that video has only been up, or the video I put up yesterday on this, has already been my highest viewed video of any video I've ever had over any amount of time. It's the first one to pass 30,000 views, and it's still going. So, you know, I want to thank him for advertising it.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good. I'm going to try and put my camera on now and see what happens. So, there we go. So, I know I was watching or replaying one of their hangouts where Anthony Riley was going through one of the calculations on one of Miles's observation, the Miles observation. And he said, now, if there's this, then there would be this much of the mountain missing. And he made a mistake and thought it was doing in meters or feet or something. He got mixed up, and then they realised that exactly what he just said was what was presented in the photo. And everybody went quiet, and they said, "Oh, look, isn't that a nice golf course?"
He comes up with some belters, doesn't he? I saw the debate with him and Miles Davis, who did a brilliant job, by the way. I know everybody's aware of Miles Davis, but you know, if they're not, definitely worth looking up. But I saw the debate between him and Anthony, and in that debate, Miles cornered him so badly that Anthony literally had to say that any lens, regardless of the size of a lens, the thickness of the lens, the focal, length of the lens, the power of it, the refractive index, or whatever, any lens in the world will make the horizon drop to appear that we're on a globe of a radius of 6,731 kilometers, regardless, as if just by some magic. I think he looked up collimation and misunderstood it. And I thought, does he understand what he's saying when he says stuff like that? When you make claims as ridiculous as that, do you actually understand what you're saying? But obviously not.
Yeah, well, speaking of horizon drop, I don't know whether you've seen that picture of mine, which I'm going to see if I can put up.
Is that the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was watching that video earlier. It was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, so I put that. So there's just a picture, very simple picture of a boat. You won't see it immediately, it'll come up, but very simple picture of a boat on the horizon. And most people will look at this and say, well, there's nothing unusual about that, but it actually is totally inconsistent with flat Earth. It's because the boat is on the horizon instead of the water going off. If the Earth was flat, the water would continue on. And this picture's taken at an eye level of 24 meters. And that boat is 32 meters high. So the water should be going off into the distance. But none of the flatties have even attempted to comment on that one. I just feel very left out now.
Well, their arguments to stuff like that really frustrate me because, clearly we know.
YouTube is telling me that it's not so hot, but we'll see what happens. It's lower resolution now.
Mm-hmm.
Refresh. Right, I just have to wait and see if this works. And all of this, what I'm talking about. Okay. Can anybody see the new stream yet? No?
Just refresh the stream from my end to see what we've got. Yeah, it still seems to be going.
So my apologies about this.
Oh, no apologies necessary. It'll be like once it's once it's processed, people who are watching it will be able to see it flawlessly, won't they?
Okay, somebody's asked, will you have your whiteboard out in your next video?
It's good question. Possibly. I don't tend to plan ahead. What I do with my videos is I get all the clips I think I'm going to use, and then I literally sit down, and as I'm filming, I decide what I'm going to say. So I don't know. I never know if I'm going to get it out. I never know what I'm doing until I sit down and start.
Yes. So I've just turned your camera off just for a little while. We'll see if that makes a difference. Still some buffering. Just remove Cat's image. So I've just done that, and we'll see. We'll see how that works out. And I hope someone, can come up with some questions. Otherwise, we're going to have to cut this. I've run out of questions, and all this mucking around with the stream. Obviously, I think I'll have to do another test to see how to make this work properly. There we go. I can see. Oh, we're almost caught up. Look at that. It's come up on the. Then, who's your favourite a YouTube flat Earth debunker? There's a question for you.
Oh, it's Team Skeptic. I'm a massive fan of Team Skeptic. Have you seen his videos?
Say what?
Have you seen his videos?
Yeah. I think I've watched them all.
Yeah, he's very good. Obviously, Simon Dan as well. But they're very, very different styles. And both binge worthy as well. I can watch one Simon Dan video and let it roll straight onto the next. Same with Team Skeptic. I can start with one and just let them bounce. One to the next. I could watch them for like a couple of hours.
Yes, and I particularly like Wolfie's videos. I don't know. He's obviously
he's very good. he deserves what's happened to him. He's very good, but he's also so clever, isn't he?
He's got a lot going for him. He's got a great job, and it allows him to do all these wonderful things that we can't do with aeroplanes and things. It's yes. So we've got another question about who is your favourite flurfer?
Oh, who's my favourite flat earther? I've got to say Flat Out. But if I'm not allowed to use Flat Out as an answer, are we actually on air?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, it says off air on my side. Yeah. Sorry. Right, I've got to say Flat Out. But other than that, Mark Doxey seems to be a really honest guy. I've done a hangout with him once, and he seems to be genuine, just a genuine nice guy that you could sit and you could have a proper chat with. And I did a stream with him a month or two ago, and we just sat and we had a really nice, proper, pleasant conversation. No aggro, no one-upmanship or anything like that. So he's good. He does a lot of like interviews and stuff. So if I'm not allowed to say Flat Out, then Mark Doxey I quite like. What about yourself?
Yeah. Oh, Ranty is my favourite, I think, yes. It's proved the globe over and over.
He's so funny, isn't he?
I once left a comment. He hasn't banned me yet from his channel. I don't know why. It's banned every other globe. But I once left a comment on his channel. Please explain this ship. One of my ship ones with the container ship that's you can just see the containers and not the ship.
Yeah.
And please explain. And it says, the old ship in the bay trick or something. I don't know, something like that. But I asked for an explanation. Well, what does that mean? But there's never an explanation. There's never an explanation.
Well, I asked Ranty for an explanation about his whole compression and things disappearing from the bottom. and he posted me to a video where he just said compression is making this thing disappear from the bottom. And I said the same. I said, that's not an actual explanation. Can you actually explain what is going on? And he replied and said, well, if that's not good enough for you, you're clearly not interested in the truth and you're clearly disingenuous. I don't think they know what an actual, you know, when we ask for an explanation, we're not talking for talking about a description or someone just pointing out and saying, oh, look, that's perspective. But we're actually looking for an explanation involving what's going on with the light. How is it happening? How can we predict how it's going to happen in certain conditions? Because you can do all that with the established science. You can predict and explain everything. But, you know, they don't come forward with their explanations at all, do they?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they understand it themselves.
Yeah, that's right. I keep asking all these people to draw me a line, you know, a sight line diagram, you know, just show me how the light rays will behave on a diagram. Nobody does it.
That's it. But I mean, I know Nathan, the flat debate, they try and get around that by saying, oh, well, we don't see in orthographic view, so therefore, you know, we'll just totally ignore any argument. As soon as something is prevented orthographically, we will just ignore it. And at that point, you know you're being trolled, don't you? Or you know you're dealing with people that literally have got bigger problems than the fact they believe in flat Earth. You know, people who maybe need to focus. Oops! I've just smashed the glass. How did you hear that?
I heard something.
Yeah. It was the rage talking about Nathan Oakley. I just pushed the glass. It was empty. I'll shove that behind the desk.
We have a question from the chat. It says, as a science teacher, do you follow any general science channels? Any tips?
Action Lab is very good, isn't it? I really like Action Lab and the things they do. I wouldn't say that I follow a specific channel, but in terms of that, wait for the videos to come out, etc. But I do watch a lot of the science channels. There was one, he doesn't make videos anymore. He was called The Household Hacker. I think he was called The Household Hacker, and he used to do brilliant little experiments that anybody could do at home with, you know, just any old household stuff. Hence his name. And he was fantastic. He was full of ideas. So I still go back to quite a lot of his. And I tell you what, the old Australian, was it Australian, the Curiosity Shop?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
It was. They've got Australian accents, so I don't know. Maybe it might be New Zealand to my ears. I don't. To my ears, sometimes I struggle to tell the difference between the two. But it looks like it's like a children's TV program, but again, really clear demonstrations about stuff, and they explain things really well. I think it's about 30 years old now, but yeah, I quite enjoy watching those. Who's in the chat? Is there anyone to say hello to? So Farmer's Boy, yeah, Alkay, oh, Miles Davis, Rock Lover. God, there's quite a few familiar faces there. I could read them all out, so I'll stop. Okay. Cody's Lab. Someone just put Cody's Lab. Yes, Cody's Lab is good. And there is a guy, nothing to do with science, but there's a guy, I forget his name, but I think his channel is called Quick Learn or something like that. Mike Boyd is his name, and he gives himself challenges to learn a new skill, and then he documents himself doing it, and then produces a video. And the range of things he's learned. I was showing one to my year 11 class a few weeks ago. We were talking about resonant frequency and stuff, and he'd learned how to smash a glass with his voice, sing into the glass and smash it. I think he'd seen it on and it documented his whole journey, and then him learning about why it would work with some glasses and not with others, and by the end of it he could just sing into a glass and smash it. But then he, you know, the video before that he was doing muscle ups, training himself. So he's got you never know what he's going to come up with next. But he's Quick Learn or Mike Boyd. He's a great channel. What about yourself? Who'd you go to?
Oh, I think my mind's a blank at the moment. But one of those you mentioned Action Lab. That's the one. I've watched a bit of their stuff, and there's Scott Manley. He's and I'm interested in aircraft too. So I watch some of the aircraft or everything about aircraft. That's I love all that stuff. So and I follow the crashes. Like there was recently the Lion Air crash, which is a very, very tragic thing, and
Yeah.
it's the set of circumstances that allowed that to happen is just, you think about it, you think, oh my God, it could have been prevented at any point, but there you go. And I'm interested in how they analyse the crashes and work out what went wrong, and then corrective action. A lot of people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. I see. Yeah, I get annoyed about a little bit about people who don't understand. This is why I'm into flat Earth myself too. People talk about stuff they have no idea what they're talking about. Have you found that?
Yeah, it tends to be a trend, especially in the field that we're operating in. But they speak on it with such authority, as if they couldn't be wrong. It's amazing. I was in a hangout the other week on the Sun and Moon channel, and there was a guy. I'm not naming because he was actually a really nice guy, and I don't want it to sound like I'm having a go at him. And we were talking about refraction, and he didn't know what a normal line was, and he didn't understand. He was talking about normal lines and light refracting upwards, and I said, well, I had to explain to him that the normal line is just a line that's at 90 degrees, to the new medium. And if light's going to refract up or down, it depends on, is the incident rate coming from below the normal line, from above the normal line? That's going to affect it. And he was trying to argue that refraction was the cause for something, but he didn't know the most basic thing about refraction.
Yeah.
And then not so long afterwards, I heard him using an argument about the normal line, which, again, completely in the wrong context. And you think, well, they throw out this do your own research, but it seems to them that if they read a definition or learn a new word, that's enough for them.
Yeah, do your own research means watch YouTube videos and believe what they say.
Yeah, watch YouTube videos from someone who hasn't done any research.
Yeah. Yeah, I should say, watch Flat Earth YouTube videos. You'll see it's all there.
And it's all the same. And when you go through the comments of the Flat Earth videos, I don't know if you saw a video I did about a guy who drew a picture of Polaris on a whiteboard. Have you seen that video?
Oh, is the one, I think I know the one you're talking about.
Long hair and a beard. And
yeah,
he drew a picture. He did the most ridiculous sort of explanation that I think I even said in the video. I have no idea what he's saying. It's that ridiculous. And when you scroll through the comments, there are actually people there saying, "Oh, thank you for telling me this. I didn't know. Just none of this. Well, hang on. Can you explain this? Can you explain that?" They were literally just saying, "Oh, thank you for enlightening me. I really appreciate this. I appreciate all the good work you're doing." And I just think, wow, it's incredible. But then they're the same people that will go on someone else's channel and say, do your research, level water. It's crazy, isn't it, that we're grown men and we're actually even involved in these discussions.
Yes, crazy. So, let's see. Yes, I should shout out too. I think you've shouted out a few people in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
There's Gary Lowe, thanks for all your help with trying to get the stream working again. And we've got John Michelson here, Rapid X.
Oh, Rapid X is there. I love Rapid X.
And Miles Davis, of course. Hello, Miles. And LK. And Brainery asked the question. I'm going to miss a few.
Rapid X is great. He does some brilliant stuff. If you've not seen, if you've seen his channel, some of the songs he comes up with is absolutely hilarious. His lyrics are fantastic.
Oh, okay. I will have to go and take a good look. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or go on
Oh,
about?
God, I'm easy going. What have you got coming up next with your channel?
Yeah, so planning more interviews, and I really, really want to do something on, unless somebody beats me to it, because it's very hard, but the so-called Dr. John Dee. Have you seen that
Oh, I've
piece of
seen
work?
his name bounded around.
I've got, I've got something. I've got something in the. I'm planning, but it's just a lot of work because it has to be exactly right. That's all. So
is that going to involve quite a lot of researching, or
yeah, a lot of researching, and just make sure I got my facts right, because he's already had a go at Mick West, and for no good reason, I think. But anyway, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot to expose this silly business wherever it occurs, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
So,
But whatever we say or do, there'll always be those people that just won't listen, don't want to listen. So I suppose we'll never be out of business, will we? We always have videos to make.
So yeah, I don't know if you have never seen Dr. John Dee, but he claims everything is refracted upwards, and he claims to be a scientist, and produces some very good observations. He's very thorough with his observations, but at the end of the day, he's not. His science is bad, and
Yeah.
That's and now he has been mirrored on 5 flat Earth channels, because you know how they all love when somebody says that they know science and then they say the Earth is flat. So all the flat Earth channels love that.
Well, that's it. If you're debating someone or chatting to someone, like you said, who claims to know science but the Earth is flat, that. However, whatever the credentials are, when you start speaking to them, there's going to be massive, massive inconsistencies and flaws in what they're saying.
Yeah.
Because it's not hard to argue against, the flat Earth. The hard bit is getting them to listen to your arguments. The hard bit is actually getting them to understand the fundamentals. I was on the Non-Sec show a few weeks ago with Flat Out Hero, and I was trying to talk about, how Polaris proves the globe, etc. And he didn't know what a tangent line was, and he wanted me to cite the source for basically geometry. So however good that evidence is about Polaris, he just couldn't grasp it and just wanted to move on. He literally had to ask me to slow it down and explain to him twice what a tangent line was, or what's that little line you've drawn next to the circle. He said. It was. It gets very frustrating at times like that. I think at that point, it doesn't matter what you're saying. It doesn't matter how good your argument is. It doesn't matter how conclusive it is. You just got to think, well, this person's not capable of grasping it.
Yeah. Anyway, how much life you think is left in this flat Earth debate thing?
Well, I mean, how long before this commercial kind of like edge of space passenger flight really takes off? I mean, didn't Virgin send one up yesterday or the day before and get some? I've heard. I've not seen the shots, but I mean, it can't be long before that is happening. Even if it's the rich paying for it and it's selective people, it can't be long before we're getting daily streams from space like that. So I'd say, I don't know, a couple of years maybe.
Yeah, but
what will we move on to next?
That's the big question, isn't it? What?
Well, they are hardwired. I mean, I was watching a Nathan Thompson interview, and he was saying nobody just gets to flat Earth. People look at chemtrails and 9/11 and this, that, and he reeled off a whole load of conspiracies, moon landing, and then you decide on flat Earth. And you just have to say it's a conspiratorial mindset, isn't it? That I don't know. I don't know about you, but I've kind of come to the opinion that I think these people want something like that to believe in. I think they want to feel as if they've got some kind of enlightenment that nobody else has. You know, they've got some kind of special knowledge that nobody else has. You know, I think it's maybe a self-esteem issue.
Yes, it's definitely a psychological issue as far as I'm concerned. Because there's nothing you can't talk reason. That's it.
Yeah, no, you can't at all. It's psychological, and I know sometimes maybe I've overstepped the mark, but not intentionally. I try and humour the people I put in my videos. I try and make it friendly, fun, friendly banter. I don't like to try and outright embarrass them. And I think watching back some of my videos, I think I've probably failed at trying to stand behind that line sometimes, but it's never intentional.
I go out to intently embarrass somebody. Yes, I think I am guilty of that. I can't help it with Phuket Word, you know. He just leaves himself so open.
He does. Have you seen his latest offerings?
Oh, there's just coming out. It's thick and fast. Oh man, I can't keep up with it all. Oh,
he's hilarious.
Yeah, and he's still.
But then I think there's a little bit of dishonesty with, and I'm not saying he's a dishonest person, but I think there's some unintentional maybe dishonesty in his videos. So, for example, the lighter one he did, you know, with the cigarette lighters.
Yeah.
To try and represent this Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier. But he's made no attempt whatsoever to scale that, has he?
No, this is why it's simply a psychological problem, a belief system that must be defended. I don't think he even knows what he's doing. I don't think he even realises himself. I think he's a good bloke, you know, in general, but he just doesn't understand that his beliefs have got him by the short and curlies. Yeah.
I think a lot of them are decent, but I mean, to be fair, when I've spoken to Anthony, or maybe not so much recently, he's fallen out with me recently, but he was always a really, really nice bloke to talk to him. Whenever we were talking about anything that wasn't to do with Flat Earth, you know, there was a point where I spoke to him, or you know, at least messaged him sort of like every day for a couple of months in the early days, because he was just a decent bloke.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be speaking to him much from now on, mind. But he was a nice guy, but his beliefs sort of have blinded him to being reasonable when they're challenged. You know.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but it's the way it is. What's going on in the chat there?
Nothing. So I think we will wrap this up very, very shortly, because I don't long videos. We don't want them to be too long. But it's been a wonderful chat, and I have to thank you so much for coming in and doing this, and thank you for putting up with the technical problems.
But thanks for having me on. I've really enjoyed it. You know, I don't do many of these things, so I really appreciate you asking me. I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully I can return the favour sometime.
Oh, well, that would be interesting.
Yeah, well, let's do it. I'll say that I will do that. I'll get something sorted. I'll have to learn how to do Hangouts because, as I said when we were off, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I don't even know how to set up a Hangout.
Hangouts is pretty easy. I just tried something a little bit more challenging today, and as it turns out, I don't think my uplink is up to it. But anyway, yeah, Hangouts is easy. You'll get it real easy. Okay.
Brilliant. Oh well, I'll yeah, we'll sort something out. It'll be good. I'm gonna try and do a lot of sort of chats on the Baldy Cats channel. You know, so yeah, let's get something penciled in. But thanks. Yeah, I've enjoyed that. Thanks so much.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with the troubles we had today, and we'll be back with another interview in the not too distant future.